And it's been 3 weeks since we actually had a window of opportunity with the weather. And conditions look okay today, so I'm gonna be teaching self-reliant course with one student. Looking forward to getting in the water finally. There's a lot of students here. There goes Marcus. Just saw him in the parking lot. Doesn't look too bad. Pretty high tide though. Hopefully the viz is decent. We'll find out soon enough.
So my student has some pretty decent buoyancy control, and he did a pretty good job. I was really looking forward to getting into the water, and so on our way into the canyon, I was quite surprised with the visibility. Again, I'm being generous here. I think the visibility was maybe 10 feet. But the terrain in the canyon, well, the storms really did do a number on them. It was like it took an excavator and brought in all the sand that was in the shallows back into the canyon and kind of filled up all the canyon walls. So it's definitely a different dive. It would be cool if this kelp actually stayed here and just grew abundantly throughout the canyon. But I know it's going to go away soon enough. Here my student is switching to his backup gas as part of the requirements for self-reliant diver. We did talk about putting the hose around the back of your neck after this first dive. But overall he did a fairly good job, maintaining his buoyancy without touching the bottom. And he does need to clean up his hoses, and so we talked about putting a bolt snap on his main rig in between this dive. We didn't see any squid, but there were a ton of squid eggs all around, so looks like a bunch of these squid ended up having a bunch of babies in between the storm. It was nice to see Vallecito's Point still there. It was definitely not as plainy as it used to be. It's a little more blunted, and it's definitely shrunk a little bit, but it's still in its same spot, but not as prevalent. But here's that anemone that I always see over by Vallecito's Point. It survived. So we're heading north towards the north wall at this point, and as you can see, it's very sloped here. Not as a steep canyon wall they used to be. Now this is our second dive coming over the very first lip. So here's that very first lip, and after that it just kind of slopes on down. A lot of squid eggs all over the place. A lot of kelp strands just hanging out and about. Again, I hope they stay through the summer, and that would be really, really cool if it thrived and we had some kelp in the canyon. But I know that that's probably not going to last too much longer. Halfway through our second dive, this seal pretty much hung out with us throughout the entire time. We are in about 75, 80 feet of water. Temperature is a balmy 58. Fairly warm, a lot warmer than I expected considering the air temperature was extremely cold. As you can see, the sand here is very sloped. The canyon wall, or the edges, are no longer there. It's just a slopey canyon down to the abyss. But the deepest we ever really went was 90 feet. Visibility, yeah, maybe 10 feet. Like I said, this seal hung out with us pretty much halfway through our dive and then followed us until we got to about 15 feet. He was a true ham. He was not afraid to be recorded by the camera. We followed the ridge line north of Vallecitos, and as you can see, there it is, Vallecitos Point. We started heading north towards the north wall, and our buddy, he just continued to dive with us. I think he was fascinated with the bubbles, maybe he was fascinated with the sound, but all in all, it was still really fun to hang out with him. I have not dove for approximately 3 weeks, and so a friend of mine asked me if it was worth going on a dive, and from my opinion, not being in the water for 3 weeks is just way too long, so it's definitely worth getting wet. Check out the canyon. Again, visibility is not going to be the greatest, but for the rest of the week, conditions should be calm, so hopefully the sediment will settle down, visibility will get a little bit better. But overall, get out there and do some diving before another storm comes in. I think this lobster is like, hey, don't tell the seal that I'm here. Just keep it on the down low, man. Let the seal continue on his way. We started to head back in, and again, like I said, this seal was really playful. I'm not sure if he was a juvenile, probably was, but he just enjoyed hanging out with us. I was tempted to pet it, but I know better, so I didn't touch it. But I've seen those videos of guys petting the seals, and they just kind of love it, sort of like a dog. But with my luck, they'll probably grab my arm and take me down to the abyss. So I believe you should get out there and do as much diving as you possibly can. Your window of opportunity is now before the next storm comes in. Hope to see you down below.
Yeah, done. Certified diver.
Hell yeah.